Gunderson, former head of the FBI in Southern California. I furnished considerable information to WAGENER. If you want the full story, you want to know what's going on, watch WAGENER.
Welcome to On Second Thought. I am Brianna Mark, co-hosting.
It's 2004 when we came to the Capitol. We went all over the East Coast into many states as I interviewed non-custodial parents all over this nation, moms and dads and even some grandmothers, and judges and attorneys. The common denominator that we could all agree on, and people are being abused, what we call now legal abuse, by the family courts. Back there behind me in the White House, George W. Bush, just this year in 2006, re-signed the Violence Against Women and Children Act, for short known as VAWA. In so doing, he basically consigned another 50 to 100,000 moms and dads to commit suicide by drugs, by alcohol, by getting a cop to shoot them because their rights are taken from them without due process.
Standing ones that I've just cited to are provisions for Mr. Johnson and the Ryans. They're entirely separate and apart from the paternity fraud fathers provisions and have nothing to do with that movement, if you're interested in somehow helping that movement. But here's the main thing. It shows the manipulation and the intention and the direction that this legislation has taken. About maybe Alicia Griffin's comments about the statute of limitations and the folly and the inappropriateness of putting a state administration in the same category as murder and rape with no statute of limitations seems to have been taken by the proponents.
Position, knowing that it's one step of the deliberative process by the Assembly.
I will move the bill because I think because of the wide range of issues, this bill really deserves to be debated and looked at by the entire Senate in the caucus. We will have other opportunities.
I vote yes.
Yes, but reserve obviously the motion the right to change my opinion based on information that we received before it comes up for a vote on the floor.
Senator Strello voted in the affirmative. Senator Scutari.
I will vote in the affirmative for the same reservations for the chair's question.
I believe it would be very easy for us to deal with the issue of paternity fraud and divorce it from the issue of prior litigation that's taken place. And it can be no doubt meant to benefit a particular individual. Senator, I engaged in any...
William Wagner, on second thought, at the state of New Jersey Trenton State House Annex with Wilbur Streett. Wilbur, can we get justice in family court?
It does not appear to exist.
Justice in family court does not exist. Explain. What happened in your case? What have you observed?
I've seen multiple cases, unfortunately, where I've been in family court. I've helped other people as well, but even when I quote their own law, their own case law, they ignore it. They rule whatever way they want to. They ignore the precedent that's set by established law, whether it's from the appellate level, the New Jersey Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court. They just ignore it. They do whatever furthers the pecuniary interest of the lawyers. And even when I document lies, when everybody's sworn in on the penalty of perjury, I documented over 104 lies and asked for sanctions, or just, if there's any more lies brought forward, the parties will have to pay a fee. Still, nothing has been done. And I've actually got a statement from the prosecutor. We don't prosecute perjury in family court. That was Mr. Incremona out of the Monmouth County Prosecutor's Office.
Monmouth County Prosecutor's Office said that?
Yep.
They don't prosecute
perjury
and fraud
in family court.
But isn't it the district attorney's duty to prosecute perjury and fraud along with all other crimes?
Yes. And there's no law that says that you can lie your ass off in family court. As a matter of fact, everybody's sworn under penalty of perjury at the beginning of every proceeding. They put their hand on the Bible, they raise their right hand, and they swear under penalty of perjury to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
So-called victim was committing perjury on the stand?
I think that probably happened in a case. This is where I've dismissed them in the middle of the case because I decided that in good conscience I couldn't go forward with the case because I had questions about the validity of the evidence.
But in those cases, did it ever occur to you that you had grounds then to bring perjury charges against the alleged victim who now purely was committing perjury on the stand?
Well, I never had perjury authority. Perjury is a felony, and I was a misdemeanor prosecutor, so I couldn't have done that even if I'd wanted to.
Even if, did you ever want to?
No.
Did you ever put it up to those that prosecuted?
If we prosecuted everybody for perjury that gets on a witness stand and changes their story, everybody would go to jail.
Is that bad?
Absolutely. I would say that it's in the thousands of people who take the witness stand and somewhat modify the truth.
A big part of that is the more lies that are told, the more controversy that's stirred up, the more the controversy continues, and the more money that the lawyers make. The primary moneymaker for attorneys is the divorce industry now. Whereas back in 1975, there was almost no money making. Unfortunately, in my first divorce, my own lawyer, who I was paying, told me not to show up. My wife's attorney said, "Oh, he's a rich guy, we can make money off of him." So I went to his office with a witness to his statement that I was not supposed to show up. What ended up happening was the judge awarded $1,000 a month in child support when my take-home per month was $1,300. So I had $300 a month to live off. So I settled. We went to trial, and we sat there for an hour with both the attorneys sitting in the courthouse, paying, and my wife would claim she wasn't making a nickel, and I didn't want her to be prosecuted for perjury, so I was getting to pay for both attorneys, $250 an hour for each one of them. After 1 hour of sitting in the courtroom, or not even in the courtroom, in the hallway, waiting to go in front of the judge, I said, "Why are we sitting here?" And the attorney said, "Oh, he's pissed at you that you didn't show up the first time. So we scheduled a kidnapping trial, and we're probably going to sit here for 2 days." I realized 2 days, 8 hours a day, $500 an hour, that's $8,000. Wouldn't go to my wife, wouldn't go to my kid, it would go to the attorneys. And I realized that if my wife and I agreed, then we could just walk out. And I got her to agree to walk out of the court with me so that neither one of us were the parties that engaged in an act of contempt. And we reduced the child support from $1,000 a month to $682.50. And she was fully aware that I got paid on a contract basis, so there might be a month or two that I wouldn't have the money. I was quite willing to take care of my kid, and if I went from $300 a month to $700 a month, that certainly changed my lifestyle. So rather than racking up an $8,000 bill on the attorneys, I agreed just to walk out. That was that, and that was great for 10 years. I was quite willing to take care of my kid.